Andrei, let's start with what has happened to Donald Trump, this attack, this shooting. And how did you find it? And how do you see the whole situation with the case of Donald Trump?
When those things happen, I usually leave details like the angle, how somebody was shooting something, to people who are professional in this field, which is of course they're related to the security measures or security detail of very important people. I never was part of this. So, but on metaphysical and political level, I think so. It is a shock to America, which will actually deteriorate even further the situation, political situation. United States right now, and it has been for a while now, is a torn nation. There are actually probably three different nations which exist in the United States. And when you look attentively at who precipitated that, I entirely agree, and I was writing this for so many years now, that it is the whole suffocating atmosphere of hatred, which primarily emanates from the what it's called left. It's not really left, okay? It's the liberal, very much with the fascist streak, totalitarian sect. They present themselves somehow they're left, but they are not left. So yeah, and this is the Democratic Party. This is the party which is, and people like Obama and Biden. Not that, I mean, Republicans are not guilty. They surely are, But these people for the last uh, well, even considering the first term of Trump, because he was completely sabotaged due to his, him being narcissist, not very, as Larry Wilkerson correctly stated, attentive to details. That's how he ruined Russian-American relations. But the point is that you look at this from the two Obama administrations, Trump administration, which was completely sabotaged. Now you have this working, working carcass, the person who is not there, and of course run by this cabal of the nincompoops, So there you go. You have the country which have been essentially raped by the what is called liberal media, so-called Hollywood establishment. And we have the situation now, which this atmosphere of hatred, utter hatred. Today, just listen today, the two imbeciles, Jack Black and whatever the hell his, sidekick with guitar. Oh, they're just, while on tour in Australia, they were complaining, or one of them was complaining when there was some performance, whatever, that, oh God, he missed Trump. These are not normal people. So they do not understand what they're doing. They do not understand what they push. So, and that is the death of all these mediocre, second-rate at best, American so-called intellectual elites. And that is basically very bad news for the United States, because there will be no reconciliation. They can go out, and even Trump goes out and say, yeah, he kind of have this reconciliating tone and, the statements, but the hatred is there. And I think so that Republicans now and many independents, they might begin to really hate back, because we saw that first, very many people will perceive it as the operation by the Democratic National Committee and those people, from CIA, FBI, who have been involved. It doesn't mean that it happened this way, but very many already on board with perceiving it as such. And then, yeah, it was the guy who was obviously spurred by this, as I already stated, suffocating atmosphere, which is basically, look, they dehumanize people. Biden went on record saying that Trump is basically evil incarnate and, has to be dealt with. So there you go. That's American politics today, and it will have major ramifications for the unity of the United States as the country. Even if Trump, which I think so, unless somebody, God forbids, tries to again on his life, but it doesn't matter if he becomes president or not. It's over for the United States as we knew that. And that's the sad part of it. But this was the event which finally kind of very much, identified the problem of the completely torn nation, in which in a direct contradiction with itself. And again, as I already stated, there are three at least nations in the United States.
I think we can look at this as in ideological problem. When we look at what has happened in Japan, it was kind of the same sort of ideology and we had in Slovakia. And we
Yeah,
can consider Fico is a left wing.
yeah.
You see, this is not, it is totally ideological, these people who are doing this type of activities.
There's not very easy. There is a true conservative wave coming. It's not coming from the United States. America doesn't have real conservatives. They are what is called Republicans are not conservative party. It's anything but. It's pretty much Zionist entity. They basically just let me put it this way. They are the extension of the Knesset of Israel. That's who they are. No, but they have some plans, and some of those plans are just ridiculous. But they are badly educated people, very corrupt. But if you look attentively at the other side of the aisle, those people are just some of them are downright pure evil. You look at the American mainstream media or British mainstream media; they are war criminals. I already did video yesterday. You want to see the collective portrait of people working for Washington Post, New York Times, or MSNBC. Look on the picture of Dr. Joseph Goebbels. That's who they are. The only thing they know is how to perpetuate many of them people are with mental disabilities. I mean, literally, they have like this, what's her name, the fanatic Rachel Maddow or whatever there. So you suddenly have the people who have so much hatred because they are minorities, all kinds of minorities, and they want to basically organize their social and cultural dominance of this all kinds of the fringes, and they suddenly become this vast force of the fringes. It is very globalist in its nature, obviously. And so then suddenly they look at the rise of this original conservatism, which is really not that much conservative. It is just basically normal human reaction to the natural phenomena. It's and what you have then, you have this absolute, as I already stated, Goebbelsonian level of hatred. Look at Russia. They dehumanized Russians to the point of, yeah, well, hey, I'm subhuman now, so that's what they do. And the only reason we are not in the concentration camps right now is because we certainly have a lot of guns in our hands, but those people will put you there. So, and when you talk about it, look at the American mass media, indeed mainstream media. Some of them are just absolutely nut jobs. Not some, many of them actually. And so you have this absolute class of people. They don't have any real skills. They don't have any real occupation. Journalism and so-called media and all the broadcasting, it's not real skill. Anybody with the IQ with the above room temperature can go in and learn this so-called trade. Many did, so. And that's archetypes. Hollywood is one of the biggest cesspools of the deviancy and perversion. So there you go. They control this so-called masters of discourse, and they push that thing on people. Now with Trump, we'll see now how the so-called nominal right, there are very few real right people there. Mostly they are, just basically defeatists and, corrupt politicians on the Republican side. But we'll see, so because obviously it was a really big time, how to say it, a red flag. And many people predicted it. They say that at some point of time they will try to kill him. Well, guess what? It came true. But I think so. What happened after that pretty much ensured that he will win the election. And how it will go there. Larry, I listened before I went on here. I listened to your interview with Larry Wilkerson. He has obviously some very important pointers because obviously he knows American bureaucracy way better than me. And he was on very much spot on so many points because he was pointing out that how unattentive and how well Trump is narcissist. Okay, he always was. So, and we'll see how he will form his cabinet. The first step was hopeful with J.D. Vance, being nominated as VP. So we'll see.
What does it mean when we talk about Senator Vance? if you remember, when he decided to have Mike Pence as his vice president, we were all thinking that he's gonna have this connection with the more traditional part of the Republican Party. Right now, it seems that he has the same type of policy. He wants to connect with the far right of the Republican Party. How do you find it?
Vance, apart from being stupid as a stump, he was an evangelical fundamentalist, and he was primarily the part of what is called Christian Zionists. Okay, this is completely pro-Israeli group. I don't think so. They even have loyalty to the United States. They have loyalty to their Scofield Bible, and how so these are just end times, basically death cult. So, but yeah, they are actually foundation on which neocons actually thrive because they are very large voting bloc. But reality is, if you will try to find me a real conservative who is American nationalist, apart from waving flags, I mean, those not nationalists. They are just, they love themselves in America. They don't love America in themselves, So these are primarily, pathetic propagandists. But if you show me the real serious politician, real serious thinker, I can tell you that J.D. Vance, from the start of this whole, let's say, the calamity and disaster for the United States, which is now catastrophe in Ukraine, he was actually very vocal. He was correct. He was, I mean, they use this stupid term isolationist, but he's not isolationist. He probably will have to go back to his roots, and there is a lot of neocons there, Christian Zionists there, so it's inevitable. But I mean, he was very pragmatic. Recall his famous article in New York Times, which shook everybody when he said, we don't have resources to support Ukraine. We don't have resources to fight any war. And it's like, oh yeah, okay, here's the guy who understands things, So that's probably hopeful in this respect, because at least he understands what it takes to, conduct which is basically not job foreign policy, which is aggressive and self-defeating, what United States conducted in the last 20 years. So that is a good step. And he is, from what I understand, he's a smart guy, I think. So,
Right now, we've learned that Orban is totally isolated in Europe, in the European Union. They're trying to put each and every pressure on him. And do you think if Trump wins together with Senator Vance, he's going to be able to support Orban? We know that Orban is so close to him, and he was
yeah,
trying
they are
to get
friends.
connected
Yeah.
with Donald Trump. And
But
how
support
Donald
and
Trump
war.
can help him, in your opinion?
I don't know how he can support him. He certainly can support him in general sense. Europeans are soiling their pants, so-called Europeans, their elites in Paris and everything, because they are afraid that, what Trump says, go to hell, spend your money on the so-called defense and just leave us alone. So, first, you have to understand, when we talk about Europeans, be them Elysee Palace in France or Brussels in general or Berlin, these are morons. They only now notice that they are sacrificial lambs and they will be killed one way or another. Another matter that, as Mr. Lavrov today stated very kind of astutely, that the United States is definitely mistaken if it thinks that it can repeat the trick of the World War II. But then again, people in Washington are not very bright either. So, but Trump, he may, pat him on the back and say some things. But the point is, you saw yourself how the legerdemain and those manipulations with voting system, which are utterly corrupt. There's no democracy there. In France, not that Marine Le Pen was much better, but she's same globalist stooge, just with the different rhetoric. France is beyond the salvation now. It's over for France and French people as such. But you saw yourself how they did it. So, and suddenly, who cares what she won? She is nobody. She has no levers of power. And again, that is what is happening in Europe. So Europe has to go. And for example, if you look at the Russian side, Russians say, yeah, just Iron Curtain, don't let them in except for normal people, just forget it. Orban in this case, yeah, he is a, Is he a prodigal son for Europe? Maybe. He obviously not Russophile, make no mistake. The guy is not Russophile. He doesn't love Russia, but he's pragmatic. He really does care about Hungary. The problem is, can Hungary exist in this type of the environment? Probably not. And there are some plans, everybody understands, there's certain kind of new Visegrad group structure, like, with Hungary, Slovakia, and even Poles in some sense. I don't think so it's going to work, knowing who Europeans are. And maybe he is already somewhere down, in his mind, understand that at some point of time, he will have to join BRICS, and eventually, and again, Russians don't care if you love them or not. If you're ready to do business, hey, welcome on board. Let's talk. Here's what the conditions are, and so this is what it's all about. So he is doing these rounds. He is kind of creating sort of the paper trail, his mark, if you wish, on the history. And if something comes out of it, hello, here's his political capital. He comes out and says, you know what? And rightly so, he says, look, I really much facilitated some kind of settlement. And many people don't know, but yesterday, I already posted it on my blog, some very high functionary of GOP, Republican National Committee, Russian RIA News, Russian correspondents which are present there in Milwaukee, and they ask him questions about what Trump and what his plans, and he says immediately, he will start immediately dialogue with Russia and settling on the issue of Ukraine and how to resolve this crisis, which is good, yeah, but obviously there is another thing. We know who Trump is, but he has to now, get, how to put it, he needs to understand what United States today is. It's not this super duper power with some, it's a pretty much declining country, sadly, so, and militarily, it's not real force, except for, starting the nuclear war or conducting some kind of the terrorist act. So when he will come and call Vladimir Putin, Putin obviously will remind him that it was on his watch that Ukraine started to be armed big time, and that he essentially destroyed Russian-American diplomatic relations by pretty much closing every single consulate around the United States, So, and then he said, oh, wait, they say that there were like four something diplomatic things. No, there are 40. And it's like, why did I know that? Well, because was your administration. You chose them. You chose neocons. You brought them on board. And that's what Larry Wilkerson was talking to you about today. Because, so Guy, you have a lot of cleaning up to do. And again, he has to understand he doesn't have strong hand, because Putin may say, so you don't agree with conditions, bye-bye. We'll continue to do what we do. What's he gonna do?
Yeah, the political system right now in the United States is so ridiculous right now. You have to go with the Democrats. They just hate Russia.
Yeah.
And they wanna manage some sort of a strategy to separate China from Russia. If you go Republican, they want to fight China, and they want to convince Russia not to be with China, be on their part. It's unbelievable. Whoever you pick, you're gonna pick a war with one of these countries, these two superpowers.
Yeah, there are no strategies in the United States. Bring me anybody from Council for Foreign Relations or from the General Staff College of the U.S. Army from Leavenworth, Kansas. Those people have no clue what they're dealing with. Again, Joint Chiefs of Staff, they don't have clue actually. What they are dealing with. They're still running with this ridiculous constructs which are completely based on the confabulated history, on mythology pretty much, So, and in this case, yeah, their strategy is like, kindergarten does this type of strategies. Okay, kindergarten children, when they are 5 or 6, they have friendship against somebody. This is the only thing they know. And again, maturity level of American elites it's below. This is the sophomores actually from the college at best, and which is I mean it. I do not exaggerate it. You get those people. They are petulant children. They are from this degree mill machine on the United States from Ivy League and all those so-called prestigious colleges, which they have absolutely ignoramus teaching there, especially the issues related to the real applied geopolitics, let alone military power and things of this nature. And you look at them, so yeah, that's the level of the strategies they have, so-called strategies. It's not even strategy. It's some kind of delusion they try to push on people not understanding what the world is. And they do not understand that the roots of at some point of time, hegemony of the United States were deeply in Europe on the battlefields of World War II. They do not understand this. But then again, have you read historical books written primarily in the United States? It is just like they just invent facts. They pull them out of their behinds and just So there you go. As the result, we have what we have, and we have those people, petulant children, who, again, I won't allow anybody from a Democratic National Committee to mow lawn in front of my house. Okay, pretty much same goes for Republicans, but at least periodically there's some, common sense people who pop up there, and there you go. And by the way, the author of the anti-Russian sanctions today, this corrupted Bob Menendez, he has been, charged with the 16 counts of bribery and so this is the guy. I mean, what can I say? I mean, it's a complete decomposition of everything. And yes, you can quote me to anybody, including in National Security Council in the United States. The United States is ungovernable right now. It's not really a country, it's state in a sense which we usually understand the state. It's some kind of I don't know, bubbles all over the place, and it's decomposing. Sadly, it is.
Andrei, when we look at Trump's vice president pick, and we know that the vice president in the United States doesn't mean anything, at least
Yeah,
with
it's primarily
Kamala
for
Harris.
break the vote in Senate. That's the main. Yeah.
But we can understand what's behind this type of decision, and what would be the direction of policies. Here comes the question, how these two guys, Donald Trump and Senator Vance, can change the policy in Ukraine. Do you think is that possible? Trump was talking about 24 hours. It doesn't seem to be that easy to change.
Oh, no. Yeah, it's a complete bravado. It's absolutely detached from reality. The problem, as I already stated, and I already kind of elaborated before, that Trump, if he would want to end this up, well, obviously, J.D. Vance stated that realities, we have to accept realities and things of this nature, so which is, it's good. It's good. He's former Marine. He went to Iraq and he sort of understands a little bit on these issues. And but in larger grand strategy, again, what can United States possibly provide Russia with? Bargaining is what? When you can offer something in return. United States can offer nothing, literally. And that is why yesterday there was all national Homeric laughter over Russia when Pentagon stated that, we hope to, conclude the strategic arms limitation treaty with Russia by 2026. Limit what? United States is lost the arms race. I mean, and you can quote me. United States literally has nothing which can offer Russia in exchange. So they will be offering, okay, you cut your, those nuclear forces, those Sarmats, those, avant-gardes, and we will cut something which will be probably in 2030s or 2040s. That's the thing. And people are they serious? Are they stupid like that? Evidently they are. And that's what has to be understood. no matter what Trump says, United States doesn't have resources. If it wants to start a conventional war in Europe, be my guest, as they say, in Russia. See what happens, and if Trump, well, J.D. Vance understands that. We know that he understands that. He is on the record explicitly. United States doesn't have resources to conduct anything in Europe. But Trump, being impulsive and narcissistic man, and he thinks that he can repeat his whatever, what was his show, you know what I'm talking about, TV show. So I don't watch them, but yeah, that's what the TV show he was running. This is not TV show. This is what you have on the front line, and what forces do you have ready? And United States has nothing to offer other than conditions have been presented very clearly by Russia. This current offer is still on the table. It might change really fast, and so we'll see if he becomes president. Words are words. Let's see what he delivers, if he's capable. I do not think that there will be much change in terms of policy, in terms of Ukraine. Simple as that.
Yeah.
And he's not quite capable to change it.
If we were to mention three important points in the relationship between the United States and Russia, would be the ABM Treaty, even before that Munich conference, and NATO expansion and INF Treaty. And you see, the INF Treaty Trump was responsible for, for that, withdrawing from INF Treaty. And right now, everybody's so excited that he's going to bring changes.
No. J.D. Vance might try to do something about it, but no. Trump is representative of also certain interests which are deeply rooted in the U.S. military-industrial complex, and so there are all kinds of donors also who have quite a bit of, just recent report about the Congress in general, what they do. A bunch of them sit on the boards tied to the companies they invest, which are parts of the military-industrial complex. So it's all propaganda. But Russians know this. Nobody expects anything from him. But if he has some change of heart, which he can deliver, he delivered nothing in his first term, and people continue to say that he was sabotaged, which he was, I agree. But I mean, something changes here. Well, it might change in the tactics of their running, on the policy of running the United States still into the ground, because you cannot change realities of the national debt, which now just servicing the percentage of it is larger than the Pentagon's budget, which is around $1 trillion. So I don't know, but militarily, yeah, United States is being pushed away. And again, as I already stated, no matter how they try, they will not be able to restore it. They will try to do some things, but inflation will eat it all. So, and you cannot print money anymore. Otherwise, the country completely slides into the hyperinflation. And guess what? That's the hot civil war. And nobody wants that. Well, some people won't do, but normal people, and they're majority in the United States. But again, is this silent majority? Is it going to say something about it? I don't think so. American political system is corrupted utterly, top bottom. Well, again, Bob Menendez, I mean, unbelievable. 16 counts. He might. I'm pretty sure that Biden will pardon him, or whoever runs Biden. Biden is, yeah. It's a national embarrassment and shame what is happening in the United States. For the lack of better word, it's national shame. It's utterly disgraceful, and the country here non-stop. So, and that is having effect now. So we'll see.
Yeah. It seems to me that if they let Trump cut a deal with Russia in Ukraine, at the end of the day, with the attitude that we know comes from the Republican Party, they would send more missiles, more nukes to Europe if they go after some sort of negotiations. That would be a huge escalation in Europe again.
Well, Lavrov and Ryabkov, Mr. Ryabkov, first deputy foreign minister, I spoke about a couple of days. He went on record and he said, we accept it calmly, we will respond calmly. Russia still has more. Russia has escalation dominance across the whole board, from naval to aviation to air defense, everything, and let alone standoff weapons. United States is not even in the same league. The only thing they can bring is, of course, this so-called typhoon, where they will load these good old tomahawks, which are becoming obsolete. They can try to update them, but you cannot constantly update them. You need the new systems. Well, Russia will respond to the new systems, and some of them are already known, which they will be. And for example, like Rubesh, and yeah, they want to play with this, play this game. Again, as you know, I wrote so much about it. Russian missiles are much longer range, much faster. Most of them are hypersonic, and so yeah, good luck, So with those typhoons, so to speak. So well, and again, you cannot put the warhead, nuclear warhead, at tomahawks. They will require a serious remake, kind of go back to when they could carry whatever the name of the warhead at that time was. So there is a lot of things about this in military sphere, which no matter what, no matter what United States does, it's checked immediately. And you constantly find yourself into those strategic dead ends because, well, I'm sorry, again, you can quote me, and as I already stated, anybody from Joint Chiefs of Staff can call me, and I said that United States lost the arms race, and I mean lost it such a way that there are some technologies it will never be able to catch up. For example, I'll give you one. In air defense, United States is not even in the same league with Russia, and they know it. Many of them, they understand it. What they're gonna bring? The Patriot? Who thought? I mean, really? Is it a joke? So, and that's what is this all about.
Andrei, if they change the policy toward China, we know right now there is a joint military exercises, Russia and China in the South China Sea. If they go after China, Russia would be involved. We cannot separate from.
No, absolutely.
They
The
are
idea,
totally connected.
yeah, the stupid idea on part of the Washington establishment is that you can, let's deal with Ukraine, and we will say, you know what, we give you Ukraine and you give up on China. Those kids do not understand what they are dealing with, and especially with evolvement, emergence of BRICS. Well, BRICS already emerged. It's just a matter of how to institutionalize properly all those, organs of the control and command control, if you wish, of BRICS. So yeah, it's absolutely waste of time. And again, what they're gonna do in Ukraine? Yeah, there is now. I'm pretty sure Russian air defense and Russian air force are fighting each other for who gets the first kill of F-16. No, I'm not kidding you. There is and yeah, the sum of money is really good. I mean, it's $170,000 for the first kill. So we'll see. It's interesting that it will be the first kill. They will kill it. They kill no matter who the pilot will be. They can find a super duper pooper ace. There are no aces in the United States. So, but yeah, put it in there and he will be killed pretty much on the first, goal. But the point is that, as I already stated, what they can do in Ukraine, you correctly stated, the only thing they can do is to escalate to the nuclear threshold. But once they escalate to the nuclear threshold, Washington becomes their parking lot, and not only Washington. They probably should understand those things. I mean, they're not completely imbeciles, but that's actually the reality. And again, as I already stated, there is another huge issue behind it, which is operational and strategic. It's the issue of the ABM. Russia is not tied with ABM treaty anymore. And that means, which is happening right this very moment, There is not only S500 in serial production, there is S550 in the serial production. And what comes next, we don't even know in terms of IBM. And it is already reaching, and it will reach most likely fairly soon, the level that even Russia will be able actually to mitigate, blunt the even massive missile strike on its territory. What can I say?
Did you see this report that UN is estimating the population of Ukraine in the years to come? And it's unbelievable. It shows how Ukraine is getting destroyed by this conflict, by this war.
Yeah, well, Ukraine will cease to exist. We already know that in the present form. Now their population is estimated at between 15 and 19 million, which is practically 2.5 times smaller than it was in 1990 something, middle 90s or something like that. So when you look at this, well, they wanted it. Many Ukrainians wanted it. So it's a hard, cold fact of life. They voted for this. And when people say that they do not want to go to the front line, many don't. They are caught, but many actually they still think that those backward Russian Mordor, Asiatic people, they go in Ukraine. I'm not exaggerating or embellishing. They literally think they go out, unscrew the toilets, take the microwave ovens and refrigerators. This is how brainwashed they are. They have been brainwashed by their propaganda machine, which is sustained on their money from their, American and British and other NGOs, CIA, MI6. So we're looking at people who are absolutely do not understand what war is. There are no people in Pentagon who understand what war is. They do not. There's not a single soldier in the U.S. history, none, starting from the obviously 1700s, 1776, and War for Independence, and even that is a whole other story. Whoever defended United States, its homeland, fought for United States, died for United States. So you have this collection of the nincompoops. They go through the West Point. They pretend that they know what it is, but they don't understand that what they did already, which is registered, they committed the crime against humanity. The crime against humanity, names of people in Washington and London, they are known. Who did it, how they did it, on the what price was paid. And when you say about the international organization, UN is irrelevant. BRICS Parliamentary Assembly, most likely, which is already being discussed, and it's going to be discussed in Kazan, will be the emerging new United Nations, if you wish. And again, you don't need West on the United Nations. The West is the one which sabotaged United Nations. And so there, when the real big hearings, it's already operating, the Tribunal on Crimes in Ukraine, or in Moscow and Donetsk. Once it becomes fully public, then it's going to be the emergence of the new criminal court, which will be dealing with the actual crimes. Obviously, ICC it's a kangaroo court. They're a bunch corrupt and I mean, it's garbage. Okay, let's put it this way. So, and that's what is emerging. And as I already stated, you have to consider that most of the Washington elite and London elite are highly uncultured people. They don't have reference points. They never have been intellectually nourished. They don't understand what real war is. They don't know history. They don't know the history of the 20th century. It's all confabulated because it's all has been rewritten by the people, professors from the Ivy League and Oxford and what have you. And when you look at these people, that's why they reside in this suspension and they don't understand what is happening, but their names are known. They have their hands up to the elbows in blood of many innocent people. There are, you can quote me, the number of KIAs in Ukraine right now, just above 1 million. I add here another 1.5 million at least of maimed, completely Well, I mean, what can I say? This is a serious war. They thought that they can do it like in Iraq, really. What can I say? Those people are criminals, war criminals.
Yeah, right now they're trying to connect this failed assassination of Donald Trump to Iran. They say that Iran wanted it. It's
Um,
unbelievable. It seems that they're preparing Donald Trump to attack Iran right after his.
Again, there is no class, there is no intellect in Washington, period. None. Those people are, well, basically a joke of humans, not just professionals. There are no professionals. Those professionals who are really professionals, they are not allowed anywhere near the power. I'm talking about people who really do not have class. They don't have integrity. They have no morals. And that's the people who run United States right now, be that Congress or the Biden administration. And there you go. It took Janet Yellen that 2.5 years ago, she said, that there will be no de-dollarization. Now, 2 days ago, she comes out and says, oh my God, we have de-dollarization. Hello. Anybody with a half brain could see it, but they didn't.
And Andrei, do you think that the Netanyahu administration would be able to bring the United States, if Trump wins, into the conflict in Gaza?
I don't know. You have to talk to Scott Ritter or Alistair Crook. They know this way more than me, because I don't know. This is way out of my, above my pay grade. So I told you people, talk to Larry Johnson too, or Ray McGovern. So they know much more about this than me, so, or maybe try to talk to Phil Giraldi, especially Phil. He obviously also was in the area of the Turkey. He was station chief, I believe, in Turkey. So
Yeah.
these people know way more than me about the relations between Israel and United States. But there is no doubt that there will be neocons and Christian Zionists, and they will influence the policy or public policy and policy of the Republican Party, which is still. I mean, most of them are in the pockets of the AIPAC, American Israeli, Public Action Committee or whatever, and so yeah, they will try. That's for sure. I can tell you that they will try, because evidently, from what I hear, Israel is. Oh my God, it's been militarily mauled.
Before wrapping up, Andrei, how do you see militarily what's going on with Israel in Gaza? It doesn't seem that they're trying even to kill Hamas. They're just bombing everything,
Yeah.
everything. They're destroying everything.
Very simple. It's genocide, ethnic cleansing. That's what they do. So, and Mr. Polikovsky, general, he commanded Russian troops in Chechnya, and he a graduate of the Academy of General Staff, a respected man. I mean, with the great combat experience. He's now retired. He's pretty old. He's like 78, something like that, 80 almost. So he was talking to Krasnodar TV station, one of the local TV stations. I don't remember which of the network in Russia, a few days ago. And he said the whole myth of the IDF, Israeli Defense Force, have been blown blown apart to smithereens. This is just like second-rate military. The only thing they know is how to fly planes with impunity and drop bombs on people. That's it. That's their level of the. And remarkably, I heard again. I'm not following it that much. When it started on October 7th, I actually posted on my Russian, Vkontakte page that there are no good people on both sides. Okay, I'm not a sympathizer for Hamas, and by no means. But I also, they managed to kill their own hostages, for example. So, and I wrote at that time, we are now entering the time of the atrocity porn. Because what is going to happen? Well, guess what? I was right, sadly. They absolutely kill many, mostly civilians, and they achieved no viable military or political, especially political aims, which war and winning in war is defined by achieving your political aims of the war. There are no political aims. Israel is going to be the pariah nation. And eventually they probably, Dmitry Orlov, I believe, correctly stated, they at some point of time, they will simply dissolve, like some kind of the salt, in the water, because yeah, they are hated now universally around the globe.
It's so amazing, Andrei. The Israeli army has been weakened during this conflict in Gaza. Right now, they're talking about Hezbollah, which is
Oh
totally
God,
ready
yeah.
to fight.
They better not go there because they will be, oh my God, they will be defeated with badly scratched, let's put it this way. This is a completely different level. Hezbollah and Hamas, no comparison. Hezbollah is a professional military force, highly trained. They are tough as a nail, and so they are very good fighters. So they have weapon systems and they have the all necessary means to really damage Israel and to make really northern Israel uninhabitable, including actually removing the military bases and all that. So yeah, it's a bad idea. That's why they need United States. They know they cannot do that. For all their pathos and with chest thumping, they turned out to be a pretty mediocre, badly trained force. And so Hezbollah, yeah, if I would have been the chief of general staff of Israel, I would freaking die in front of Netanyahu, but not allow my army the way it is, to get there, because that will be a slaughter.